Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Live broadcast of Stage 3 of Race Watopia, part of the ZRacing Series. This stage is going to be going from October 16th through October 22nd. We're out on the Two Bridges Loop. It's going to be a fast and furious one. And Dave, I'm going to get right down into the racing because the A's are just jumping out on course. And with how quick this ZRacing stage is, we're going to go across the A's, the B's, the C's, and the D's today as best we possibly can. But Dave, this is going to be absolutely just punching nonstop. You got the S's, you go through the sprint. There's no points or anything on the sprint, but sometimes people give it a little bit of go. Then you do reverse Watopia, but the little cutoff, and because of that little cutoff, all you do is that like punch in the face for like 11% real quickly, and then you're right on through for the lap. I think you're muted, Dave. I think you muted yourself.
Okay. Sorry, Nathan. Yeah, I almost liken it to pouring a little gas on the fire when you're going through those sectors like the SEs. It must in some way increase the average speed just in spirit out there, even though technically the physics wouldn't tell you it does. But absolutely expect these guys really to be getting after it. There's an event, well, it's not even really an event. It's sort of a training race that they do at velodromes around the world where you'll get 10, 12, 16 riders and get them on the track and see how fast they can complete a distance like 10 or 25K. And it's really just about roll through, something that you talk about a ton with Zwiftcraft, where it really, this is a good example of basically you're descending for 15K in a small group. Just keep coming over the top, because we talk about this being what's going on here now is you can do this course this week is from the 16th to the 23rd as many times as you'd like. The fastest group that you're in is going to get you your best GC stage time. So this broadcast typically helps. You look at the quality of the riders that we've got, Nathan, it's a pretty good group. So I think put that all together, and that's exactly what we've got. They're already attacking out of this group. In no way, shape, or form, Nathan, is that an attack that has a thought of winning this race outright. It's more about just, come on, boys, let's keep going. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, we'll see what Niall can do here. He's got 2 seconds, but I have a feeling it's going to be difficult on the downhill in just a second. But there was an attack over the top, I think, of what Scott McLean was doing on the front end of this race just a few moments ago. See if we can get something for everybody about what the attacks were to instigate this. You know, a lot of times this uphill section, we'll just bring in real quickly a little replay here, and you can see the damage that was being done heading up this uphill section. A lot of times this section leaving the piers and into this little underground tunnel is the initial instigators. You can see all kinds of riders getting spread out across the field here now. But as we move through to the S's here and exiting them already, it is going to be heading right down into the sprint point. Now, there is no real sprint, but Scott over the top here. McLean, he always tends to do this. He is an instigator, that's for sure.
Yeah, a catalyst. Right. I mean, like, absolutely. There's going to be riders that get tailed out of this group. Right now, again, it's only 15K today it's 2 laps or 2 loops out here. But this really just kind of helps get things going, and you're going to see the stronger riders rolling to the front. That's exactly what's happening right now. The finale is going to be just utter pandemonium out here. But we've had a chance to meet some of the stronger riders in this field. Torben Oxen comes to mind, the Danish rider. He's a superstar in the making. Nathan, Michael Podzelin as well, the firefighter. Well, he's been on fire himself. As we take a look up, I should mention power-ups today: Arrow and Feather, 2 of the most familiar and desirable power-ups. You can see that Arrow helmet right there being played.
Yeah, and we are seeing a lot of familiar names here. Fingers here we are seeing from the KRT team. Johnson from ESRT. A lot of new names, though, too. You can see the weather is shifting, Dave, I have a feeling. T. Armstrong with, now, for those that may be unfamiliar, anytime there is a pro orange kit next to the name in game, you know that that is a in real life pro. Orange stands for road cyclist, or usually some sort of cyclist. The green one would be for the runners, for the triathletes, and I believe purple will be for runners, professional runners, just as a heads up there for anybody who is wondering what those little jerseys for. They do signify, like a verified badge, that they are in real life professional athletes across whichever discipline that is for. In the B category, they are just heading on through the bridge sprint section. A little bit off the front here from a Galaxy rider, actually. O is what he's got in his name here. Good Janssen there from ESRT, followed up by 1984. A little bit of an ominous name there, as I think, is that going to be then? He's a dystopian rider, is what he is.
Oh boy. Oh, I like, because if they rank you by numerically, you come in at the top, right? You're the lowest possible number that exists. So scrutinizing those professional jerseys. It's not like a blue check mark that you can get on X. We have to we have a definitely authenticating those jerseys. And I saw a good friend, Lucy Charles Barclay. Nathan had a huge win. Someone who Zwifted a ton. All the WTRL folks have got to be pumped. That was really cool to see. Speaking of triathlon and Zwifters having success out there, it's every week now, Nathan. So one of our friends from Zwift, whether Jay Vine, had a big win at Tour of Turkey. I don't know if you folks had a chance to see that. Up at stage 7 that he won. But Jay and his wife Bree really came up through Zwift, or I feel like we were part of their journey. Certainly. So always cool to see. Look at this, Nathan. So I love the fact that you have the confidence to cover A, B, C's, and D's today. You put in so much work to be able to do that. So Nathan, right now, split screen here. So it looks like we've got the A's and the B's at this point now.
Yeah, and on the B side of things, it looks like Kruger going off the front a little bit here from the Dragons. He does have 2 seconds. Amongst the A category, they're about to hit the main climb that we will have out here today. And T. Armstrong goes off the front a little bit for a moment, but the counterattacks are coming here. Oxen now to the front, it looks like. And they're going to just do this little right-hand bend. Does kick up into 11-12% for just a moment. Now to the front, it looks like, using his feather powder. Broberg's here as well. ESRT, 700 watts coming from him up into that 9 watts per kilogram. Feather power up from him as well. They're going to take a right-hand turn onto a little bit of dirt. Really, the split point, Dave, it's not this initial kick. Well, for some it may be, but the real split point is the acceleration up and over the top through the dirt when everybody's hurt and looking for some reprieve off the pedals.
When we talk about only the strong survive, Nathan, some are not as strong as others. So that's a really good point. If you make it to that point, that's really the last stand, I think, that you have to make. And this is going to be phenomenal as McLean has hit out with authority. So the American now opening up a gap. This is going to do nothing but lift the pace for our racers out here. You can see the speed at 47 kilometers per hour. There's not much climbing on this course, but Nathan, when you are climbing, it's relatively severe. If you look at it, it's only, I would say less than 1.5K of what you call legitimate climbing over the 15K out here, but it is impact climbing. And so now we take a look at the front now. This is going to be different. The German rider on the Dragons team, they've really stepped up out here. And I have a feeling that's going to be Mr. Podzelin coming to the front. A very recognizable WLC kit, Wahoo Lacole, and riders just holding on at the back of this group as we go over the bridge here, Nathan. So 2 bridges loop in full effect right now. Olsen, Merrily, Armstrong, all up in right now, just pushing the pace here.
Yeah, let's see if we can get an idea on T. Armstrong. Interesting.
Yeah, I was just doing the same, Nathan.
Yeah, it'd be great to get some information to see. I'm not sure that Armstrong has a ZwiftPower account. A lot of times the professionals that jump on, they get amazing workouts, but they have not, and that's one thing a lot of times they may not be up to date a lot of times on the Zwift racing, how it works, what the not protocols to get involved, but what everybody's doing when it comes to the scene. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times you'll find that they jumped on, wow, this is awesome, getting a great workout, and no ZwiftPower account a lot of times because they race in real life for their results a lot of times.
With all due respect, Nathan, it is quite a commitment to dual verify, right? Well, I know you're not, ZwiftPower does not mean dual verified. That's a whole nother level of commitment to, esports racing. But I fully can understand how someone who's an active in real life racer, this would be a great place to start. There's a lot that you learn too in Zwiftcraft. It's not just when to play a power up, to be honest. It's much more deep. As far as the learning curve, well, Zwiftcraft is really subtle. The things that are happening out there, much like you would see when you get to the highest level of racing. So, Nathan, over on the A side, really active. I'm actually amazed as they go through the middle part of the course. It's a short day out here. You can see just 14.7K over 2 laps. So, I mean, we're stuck in immediately.
Podline, knowing maybe the weakness here in and amongst the field at this point that may be starting to show, goes up over the top. Perfect timing in a lot of ways. Now, this may not be the move that really splits things up, but I think it's going to cause a little bit of mayhem at the back, as some riders just going to be trying to hang on at this point as they came up over the top of the climb into this section. As you do see quite a few starting to straggle a little bit. Now the question is, will there be a counter into the Essies? Because that's where the speed really picks up. Anybody going up over the top right now is going to put Summers as well as Van Hontem, Armstrong, Thorig. We're seeing Nishikawa as well from the TMR team, all just struggling to get on terms. Now, if it bunches up again here, they'll get back on just fine, but there are going to be a lot of riders looking for some reprieve at this moment, and that is your absolute moment to go up and over the top through the S's if you have the ability to do so, and I think the Dragons may be doing just that, as we got Podsy off the front.
So you talk about the counterattack. When it's in the gutter, that's where Ponzi has put this one right now. If you have the ability to come over the top, it's going to be interesting. Now, remembering the GC out here, the fact that we're sort of in this really interesting Tour of Watopia stage race, this group collectively working together does benefit more. So this is an interesting way to play your cards. A lot of these athletes, as we head into the Zwift Grand Prix and really picking up esports racing, they maybe aren't so worried about their time. They're worried about the experience of being in the moment and racing out here. You can see the Aero Power up there, that classic Aero Power. So Podslane's not only got company, it's going to be Rose coming up, and over, not quite over the top, because I think Podslane's going to have the depth of ability. There you go. You can see the fire socks being thrown down as Podslane. Michael Podslane out of Connecticut's going to jump right onto its wheel. So can these two work together?
Yeah, I think Podsy and Armstrong might be able to make this happen, actually. Yep. They got 4 seconds here. The question is, what kind of speed can they take over the top? We do see Armstrong being really smart.
Yeah.
This is extremely intelligent to what he just did right there. 8 watt per kilogram kick over the top, builds up the speed. I want to see him hit 57, though, because they're going to hit 57 at the back there on that main. And if he does, there it is, right into 57. No 0 watts per kilogram for a second there. Could have used a little bit of a super tuck. Podsy gets back on terms. He had the reserves, though. Did you see the tactic there? So smart, sat in, knew he'd roll through. Now he pushes 7 at the front. They've got 5 seconds, 6 seconds. It's going out. They're sitting up behind here. 52 kilometers per hour. Let's do the differentiation. 50 here. They're going to be rolling faster only because of the downhill, though. McLean sees that there is a danger now, and he kicks to 9 watts per kilogram, knowing that he's got to get involved right now.
All right. Well, so Armstrong really, I mean, there's some big question marks. We're trying to figure out exactly who the British rider is, but definitely, as Nathan said, the orange jersey there carries a lot of water when you look at this now. So that's going to be Podzaline and Armstrong on the front, although this is starting to split up. It is chaos out here right now with less than, let's call it 4.5K of racing remaining. So that's going to be Michael Podzaline in the pink and blue. It's the man that really has upset the apple cart out here today is going to be T. Armstrong. I think Scott McLean, Cannondale rider back here, is starting to really close this. There he is, making contact, using the power up, going by. Wow, look at this, Nathan. Very, very animated out here.
This is all in, completely all in from these riders here at this point. They've got 4 seconds. Oxen sees the danger, comes over the top. Here comes Barry. Barry now, knowing the moment, he knows when to go through the Italian village and into that 1% gradient, carries the speed right on through. T. Barry, BL13 over the top. I raced this man this past weekend in the tiny races twice. This guy knows exactly when to attack. He went off the front in the tiny races, Dave, to go off the front in the tiny races and stay away twice in a row. This guy knows how to make moves, but he shuts it down, actually, is what happens. He makes sure that it's all back together, but is he going to continue on? It looks like it's all back together. That actually instigated the close down. Is anybody sitting in amongst the pack that's going to make one more move? If not, Dave, it's really just one more all-out baller move to the line, really, because it's just going to be this uphill punch and then a downhill into a sprint.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that they're going to at some point split the group here? There's not much racing remaining, Nathan. There will be one more attack. That's our A's absolutely throwing down. We've got the A's, B's, C's, and D's all out racing today. So as Nathan goes split screen again, it looks the two races actually look pretty similar when you put it into context. A lot of animation has been going on over on the A side of things, however, but they obviously didn't waste any time today getting after things.
No, they didn't. And as you can see, it's all Grupo Compacto. Now, a lot of times, if somebody does go hard enough, if they get enough speed over the top of that climb and they attack right here where the A's are entering, they're about to hit this reverse Watopia climb. Again, only about a quarter of the way up, it cuts off into that dirt section. We do see going to the front here, this is going to be... Who is this rider? This is going to be Payne, I believe. No, not Podzaline. Alpha CLS, Tommy from Alpha CLS here. He's now making his way to the front. He uses his Zwift Play steering or whatever steering device he may have, goes off to the left-hand side, then comes back into the middle. He's going to cut probably far to the right here. Summerfield from WLC now sees that this may be a threat. He kicks up into 8 watts per kilogram now, 157 beats per minute. 1 second up now. Is he going to commit? I think that's going to be for a fade climb. Anyone going to go all in? If it's an all-in move from this point, it's going to be an 11 plus watt per kilogram or so. We're not seeing that, so I have a feeling they're setting up for a sprint.
Yeah, I think they're as close as they want to be. No one going to play all of their cards right now. Wow. So this is with the accelerator down on the floorboard. You can see all of the orange numbers over there popping, but you're right, Nathan, nothing quite up into double digits right now. Riders are getting tailed out of this group. It looks like around 20 thereabouts should survive to go into the final of this one. So all out pandemonium there for our A's and every group. So you're going to see as we work our way through the different categories, I think the impact through that area is going to be greater and greater. It's been so intense just to get there, and now we've got a serious attack. This is a real danger, man. Absolutely, Nathan. Torben Oxen here, the Danish rider, has been without a doubt the class of the Tour of Watopia in this time slot. So he is now full gas at this point. The FCQ rider's going to have them all really, really in trouble here. Gap at 5 seconds, Nathan.
Yeah, this might be able to make something happen here. There will be some roll-through speed, but it's not the same any longer. Oxen's got to kick up right now, though. 7 watts per kilogram now. 6 seconds, Dave. And because of the changes to the pack dynamics and the way they work, the only rider who is going to get any of that super tuck, as you can see the rider from WLC just going to the super tuck on the front, is only the rider on the front. And so because of that, Oxen gets that advantage from using that super tuck. 7 seconds. Dave, 7 seconds is massive with only like 500 meters. This is over. Yeah. He's done it.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say so. So this is going to be nice. The few seconds here will be towards his GC advantage. Let's see how this group is able to pull together here. What can they do? This is all in. Scraping the bottom of the barrel. You got to love it. So Torben Oxen zigs when they zag.
You can't even see him, Dave. You can't even see the pack. He just walked away from them. Amazing job.
Raid. A GC raid. He took 10 seconds on a sprinter's 15K day. Oh my goodness.
Barry for second. Nice sprint from him, scaring me a little bit. I got to race this guy on Thursday. BL13, absolutely. All right, let's jump right on over to the B category, though. They're just coming up and over the top of their climb. Here we go. It's going to be back-to-back-to-back racing here, if that's for sure. And as we take a look, there is one off the front here, Dave. It's going to be Fat Cyclist, showing us he's not too fat up and over the top of this climb now at 13K in, 17 minutes of racing. That's all that they've got so far today. Finishing up in sub 20, I would think, as he comes over the top. Now, will there be a counter? No breakaway this time, though, Dave. Different story in the B category.
A galloping Clydesdale on the front. But here we go, Nathan. It looks like there is a major problem for, what is it? This is going to be outside of this front group. There's at least a dozen riders who are going to be fighting to hold on as they come across the bridge. So these guys now very quickly going to come up on 1K, a little bit more than that until they see the virtual red kite. But they did really take quite a few riders to the back door by the scruff of their neck and just tossed them right out. So, Nathan, that's really a big impact here. They'll keep the speed high, want to keep these guys out because, again, the last thing you want to do is let them back into the group. All of a sudden, when you get a second wind, you've got it's really hard to deal with.
Early attack, early attack.
Here goes the attack. Yep. And it's Fat Cyclist. That cyclist has hit
early move. Don't sleep on this. I lost a race this past weekend just like this to a rider going super early, but he's only got 8 watts per kilogram. Here comes 13 watts per kilogram from the Dragons. The Dragons are hunting him down. It's going to come right down to it, Dave. 14 watts per kilogram. I think they've got him. It's going to be good. Johnson. Dragons with the lead out, actually. The timing from ESRT. Kruger's going to take second. Third, it looks like, goes to Pearson from AAC. Back to back here. Absolutely crazy racing. Like I said, it's going to be a barn burner out here, Dave. This course just does not relent.
The Swedes, man, these Vikings right now. I just did Belgian waffle ride, Nathan, last week, won by a Norwegian, Torben Andre Groth.
I got some inside info on that one a little bit, actually. Me and Daxton Mock race each other often.
Oh, yeah. He was in the breakaway, had 5 minutes. They talked about his incredible mountain bike skills. Dax Mock was a huge. He was a rookie of the day, rookie of the year. I did not know you knew him, Nathan. That's fantastic.
We race all the time. He came up in. We'll get back in the race. Well, we'll get back to that in a minute here, but he let me know he did the work up front. Him and Torb train together all the time out at CMU.
Above and beyond cancer centers with a team that it was nice to see. So yeah, racing is in real life here in Zwift. It's all merging together. We see so many Zwift friends, Nathan, don't we? At the events, it's just mind blowing. So that's become a part of our world, our in real life community. Okay, here we go. 1.2K to go. Actually, I'm going to call it 1.4K to go. And we've got another attack coming out of this group. It's going to be AJ Isaacs here of TFC, the Friday Criterium. He's racing out of the United Kingdom. It's going to be Gout right behind. It looks like a chase. It's now at 2 seconds, Nathan. So here we go.
Not quite as much as Oxen, but this may work out for him. We'll see.
Oxen had 6 seconds at this point.
But look, he's up and out of the saddle, though. Isaacs is committing. They're not chasing, Dave. They're going to have to start their jump a little bit early, I think, to catch him. He does even have an arrow power up on the downhill here, up into 59 kilometers per hour. He's got some serious separation. I think Isaac might do that. I think he's done it. They've gone too late, Dave.
He cracked the code. This is the Oxen phenomenon, they're calling it in the world of physics. If you attack hard enough with enough authority and really, really commit, then the world will believe in you. And it looks like Isaacs has done the same thing, Nathan. He took 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 seconds. He's not coming back. Goodbye. He's in a different zip code right now, as AJ Isaacs is going to win in our C group. Phenomenal.
Right to the line. And I even saw Danny there fade for just a second. P. Smith from ART, I think, went backwards for just a moment. So nice little sprint there. Good job for Isaacs from TFC. D category, Dave. And this is going to be Team Italy. Anna Tagliente, actually, is in and amongst the lead group with the men or in the open category here. So good to see one of our first featured women of the day from Team Italy.
I thought you were going to say Pagliacci, which is the clown.
Tagliente from Team Italy.
Very different than Pagliacci, the scary, sad clown with the black and white checkers. The one that
I don't know
scared
anything
Kramer,
about this. I actually.
Okay.
That's one
That's
I very rarely, but I don't know that one. So level 12 Zwifter, actually newer, it looks like, to the world of Zwift. We do see her on one of the basic bikes here, but she's not putting out basic watch. She's putting the hurt on these guys, it looks like.
She's in the right place at the right time, picking up a new season here. I saw, we're coming into the final tomorrow, the 6th of 6 races that make up ZRL season 1 of 23-24. But she should get on a team for the next season. If this is the D's and the C's, that's where it's at, baby. Some incredibly fun racing. But I want to turn our attention right now to an attack from De Vet. The Dutch rider now has hit out. That's getting a response. As they come up over the top using the power-ups here. So Arrow and Feather. Feather is what you're seeing, and Feather's making a difference right now for BB, the NTS rider.
Not too serious. You didn't take that. This is not too shabby. That's what that is. What? Not too serious. This is serious all day. On the front from BB here, Dave.
This is some serious wattage. So, all right, BB, good job. You got them in trouble. I'm going to call it 2K to go, and they've got a red alert. This is a major, major problem for that peloton.
They got to work together to bring this back. He's not coming back. BB's not. I don't think BB's coming back. That's 8 seconds. I mean, unless everything is donezo for him at this point, he's got to get the speed up.
If he blows a gasket, maybe. But if the
well, look at the peloton. Look at there's just nothing left.
What peloton?
Well, yeah,
what peloton are you referring to?
2 riders, Anna Tagliente.
One 2-rider group. There's one 2-rider group left.
I'm rooting for Anna to pull everything back right now. Let's go, Italy. Here we go. On the front, it's going to be D Sweat. I don't think that's going to happen, but level 12 Zwifter. Welcome to the world of Zwift racing, right?
Well, and the dynamic of D racing, where it is every man and woman for themselves out here. It is really, really fun to watch this category. You'll see riders, obviously no sandbagging, so we see riders advance through this. Talented riders will move right through this group, but the riders that find this is their sweet spot, they have so much fun racing, and this is a good example. This is the ride of the day out here. So, yeah, I thought it was going to be Oxen, Nathan, if we had our review and talked about the ride of the day, but I think BB is going to take it with just knocking it out of the park. If
I rate him, I give him second. If I rate him, I'm going to give him because Oxen's move. I'm going to go Oxen. Then I'm going to go BB.
So we're tied because we'll ask Gabby what she thinks.
Okay, I'll ask her. She's like, she said,
shaking her head.
She's just shaking her head. She does think we're crazy. I think that is true. BB across the line, nice one here. It's gonna be Sam Slat there from the Vikings team. Watch out for them. Never sleep on the Vikings, especially on this. I have nightmares from racing them right here on this section. Sweat across the line. Tagliente trying to hold out the boys. Is she going to do it? I think she is, just ahead of Jensen. DBR.
Maybe that's the ride of the day, Anna. Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty awesome to see a 3rd or 4th place. I think it was there. 4th place. We'll get it in the results here in just a second. Yeah, coming just in. So if you do get to see, if somebody does let her know that the broadcast did happen, I just want to say, Anna, welcome to the world of Zwift Racing. Does look like she's created a ZwiftPower account as well. So very cool to see.
You're a machine.
Absolutely.
You're a machine, Anna.
So
where is she? Is she Canadian, did you say? I need to check that out.
No, Italian. Let's do a quick little overview of what this is all about for the race Watopia, the Z Racing. Just so everybody knows, Mondays, it's all about covering the Z Racing series. We're going to do that all year long. So we covered, what was the last? It was Get Rolling. We did the Get Rolling series for September. Now here in October, it is the race Watopia. Z Racing is all about introduction to racing out on Zwift. It's also about a GC of continually added up time across each one of the stages. There's 5 stages in October, but you can race it every day. You have a race Watopia stage race happening every day throughout a week for each of the stages. So essentially, if I'm explaining this correctly, I know I am explaining correctly, but hopefully you understand my explanation. From for stage 1, the first week of October, you had the opportunity to race it as many times as you wanted throughout that week of October to get the best time you possibly could. For stage 2, the second week, and so on. Stage 3, we're into the third week of October. You can race as many times as you want to get your best time, but each one of your best times for those stages, they add up onto a GC, and they actually have a current standings over on ZwiftPower.com.
It's like in high school when the teacher would give you a makeup test, right? You can, if you go out and you have a fantastic race with a great
just
group,
ace it.
Time, then you're good. You got an A. But if you feel like, hey, I didn't have my best ride, or that group was just a little sluggish, you can go back and race again as many times as you want. So, yeah, it's really been really cool. And not to spill the beans. Actually, I can't spill the beans because I don't have any. But the final race here is going to be a mystery course, some new roads.
Ooh, I don't actually have any idea either, Dave, just so you know. So we actually, I just want to
you hold out on me, Nathan.
No, I don't have any extra information. I actually don't. Maybe I will by tomorrow. We'll see. But so I just want to quickly highlight where you can find this information as well. Now, you'll see that there's actually, because it was so early this morning, or yesterday, very late my time, the first stages started getting out on course. Jarl Marvik obviously doing one of the first stages, or first days of stage 3. So there's only down to 7th place right now, has the 3 stages. And as you can see, there's only been recorded for 2 stages for everybody from 8th and down. So they update this every, I think, 12 to 24 hours or so. So you have to wait a little while. It might be a little bit sooner than that. But as soon as they update that, you will see this rolling GC updated for stage number 3. So this is where you can find that. Just head on over to Leagues on ZwiftPower, and you hit this Race Watopia hashtag right there that you can see, and you'll be able to get this standings across the A's, the B's, C's, D's, and you can also do it all, which is interesting sometimes because it gets kind of competitive because you almost have a chase race type situation, don't you, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, for a B rider to have a time faster, that's really impressive. As far as they certainly found the right groups, and yeah, it's amazing when you dig into the data how sometimes you can uncover these just hidden gems of performances. That's for sure. Just like Dax Mock that we were talking about. Every now and then.
So, okay, I had a back and forth with Dax, actually. So Dax is the Wisconsin single-day state champion. I won the series this year, but Dax won the one-day state championship. He came back home. He was raised in Wisconsin about an hour from here and came up through the NICA program here. His mom actually helped start the NICA program here in Wisconsin. So
cool.
For those that don't know, her name's Kathy Mock, and his dad works for Trek, actually. And so awesome cycling family. And I had worked with Kathy, actually, to get the NICA program started here. And then off of her leadership for the statewide, I then here started some NICA teams with our local high schools, actually, and that was the seeding for the Lake Country area that I live in here for like a 3 or 4 high school group that we started kind of a coalition of a club of riders for. And now we have like every single high school locally here now has a mountain bike team because of that. Pretty amazing, actually. So anyways, a little bit of then I raced with Dax in the War Series whenever he's around, but also he came up through the Wisconsin Off-Road Series. So it's cool that you saw him at the Belgian Wathera. I thought he was going to win it with 3 or 4 minutes off the front. He let me know he was just working for Torb. He said he was working for Torb, and Torb sat in on Trekky's wheel until the end because he could just sit in because they were kind of like 1-2 in him. At least that's the story I got. That was the story I got.
Yeah. This was the Belgian waffle ride in Lawrence, Kansas that we're talking about. That was Brendan Johnson was the Australian rider that, his Twitter handle is Trekkie something.
Everybody calls him Trekkie whenever they reference him from Australia. So like people in Australia know him as Trekkie, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a 3-time marathon Australian national champion. So I know we're going a lot of different threads to follow here. But
Well, for those who have been around ZCL for a long time, I guess that's why I'm just like referencing Trekkie because like we've seen him on ZCL so many times, and he raced the highest level of Zwift actually for a little while as well. I'm not sure. I don't know if it was for. I don't think it was for Aero. It might have been one of the Australian. It would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we also had the national series happening, the Australian national series happening here as well. So we got to see a lot of Trekkie actually on ZCL pretty early on. It was really great.
He's a great guy. Yeah, totally. Again, and that all circles back to that Lifetime series as well, which is wrapping up this week for this season at Big Sugar. So it really is interesting. We're wrapping up in real life racing.
So much going on.
It really is.
And how small the world is, though. How small, because we just talked about somebody local to me in Wisconsin, somebody in Australia who was on the same course. Now we're talking about everybody meeting up at the Big Sugar this week. You know, is it this weekend at the Big Sugar? It is. And you know, Tom Pidcock, Cassiania Doma. We've got big, huge names showing up to that, and all these other people we were just talking about going to be there as well. It's kind of crazy how small the world of cycling can be.
Yeah, and the cross-pollination that you see, too. I mean, I saw that Reggie Miller was riding with Tom Pidcock just the other day in L.A., out in Malibu.
And Eric Min, I think, too.
And Eric Min as well. Had dinner, I saw, right? And I mean, so you think like Eric Min, Reggie Miller, Tom Pidcock. That is a table I want to hang out with, sit down and enjoy a plate of pasta. Some very cool guys. So, hey, all right, Nathan, let's take a look. It's going to be another Torben. So they call him Toby as well. It's funny how Norwegians have a great sense of spirit, much like Sisu and our Finnish friends. So there's something to it. As 4.2 watts, he knows his Zwiftcraft. He breaks away, even with that extended breakaway. Nathan, his watts per kilo were less. That has to surprise everybody. 18:46 his time. So that's a great GC time for T. Oakson of FCQ. Thomas Berry will be second today. It looks like same time for the group though. So Thomas Berry for second. It's going to be Tuan Torig in the bronze spot for third. Nora rider Joel Bowden in fourth, Sebastian Sementsma for RWC Ahoy in fifth, John Scarmato of OMG in sixth, Thomas Nilsson for SC, Swedish Swifters in seventh. It's Jan Eifert, the Dragon, in eighth. Cuba Stansderski for MTNT in ninth, and then at Broberg, ESRT rider in 10th. Great racing, fun to watch, and we'll see you guys next week. Here come the bees from Nathan.
Carl Frederick Good Johnson from ESRT. He's got almost a little bit of a kick over the top of the pack there. I think he was almost caught by the Dragons, but unable to do so. He had that early jump. Diamond Kruger for the Dragons there in second. We have P.A. Peterson for third. The Fat Cyclist, he's actually the one who made that really early move and unable to hold on, but it was a good attempt and actually held on for fourth. Malis Wilkland, ESRT. In fifth, it's going to be Carl Olsen from also ESRT. Lots of representation from the ESRT team there. And it's going to be Justine Broseth in seventh place, Marius Fosside from the Vikings in eighth, Johan Vesterberg for AAC, and then in 10th place, Florian Wu from Foudre. In for the C's then.
All right. Thank you, Nathan. Spirited racing across all of our open categories out here. This was fun to watch. Great job today, AJ. AJ Isaacs in full effect for the Friday Criterium TFC. Taking the W and a few added seconds to go with it. Also very efficient. So, Nathan, you can see how they're sitting in until they make that perfectly timed attack. Surgical job out there. Paul Smith of ART, Atomic Racing Team, silver spot in second. Danny C of TBR Team, Big Ring Link Edition in third. Ali R. Boom, great name, great job. Fourth place today in our C's for Ali. It's going to be Gregory Gout of Riders Without Borders. That's that super Irish team. Good luck to everybody on that squad in the Zwift Grand Prix as well. That's Gregory Gout there. In the C's here, taking fifth, Christian Johnson, Arctic Zwiffer. I was going to say, wait, it's Zwifter. but it's Arctic Zwiffer, Nathan. Christian Johnson there. Johansson, excuse me. I knew I'd get something wrong. In 6th. It's going to be the Brodders in 7th. Lee Mitchell, ART rider in 8th. Michael Nilsson of ESRT in 9th, and then Ray Byler of the Dads Indoors Riding Trainers team in 10th. Nathan, I bet you got the D's ready to go.
D category. Well, BB makes that break up onto the top of the climb there. 23:57 gets the better of Trond Samslot by 8 seconds. It's going to be Dewey Sweat there in 30 in third place there. Anna Tagliente, one of her first races, I think, here, level 12 racer. Get to see her jumping in and getting a 4th place. Thomas Jensen there for the DBR in 5th. It's going to be Paul W. in 6th place, followed up by Jan Niklas Westselberg in 7th. David Fingland for the herd in 8th. Mario Perales Pina in 9th, and Andrew Reynolds. That's going to be your top 10 for the D category. Great job to everybody out there racing. Well, that's the first go at, and it's always great. I think a lot of times people will jump in and take a look at the Race Watopia and the ZRacing series, because there are so many races throughout the week. A lot of times you can see this first race for the Monday broadcast, get an idea of what the best ways are to play it. And it's almost like going back after, an end boss in a video game and seeing, well, what did that work? And did that work? And what's the tactic here? And how do I move over here? And you can try all different kinds of things throughout the entirety of a stage and really get used to a specific course and really get that course down pat when it comes to racing. Because racing a course and riding a course, even with a group ride or whatever it might be, 2 totally different stories, especially when there's something on the line.
We're actually making we're stealing Cy's thunder here, making the recon videos for him. To tell you the truth, because you're making some great points, Nathan. And guess what? I mean, I would imagine this will impact what happens the rest of the week out here on this Two Bridges course. You're going to see a lot of riders attacking in that last 3K, trying to carry through and do what we saw a couple of riders do out here. And once someone cracks that code, typically there's a bit of a rush to riders trying to do that, which changes the tactics. Then again, now you have to retool out there, which is what bike racing is all about. You have to constantly adjust to changing situations. So make good decisions out there. All right, Nathan, this is fun. We'll turn around quickly, and I've got a lot of racing to look forward to. It's team time trial day tomorrow for the ZRL, heading to London for the 6th race of the season. Very short break before season 2 kicks off again. But I'm stoked because we have so many different races around the globe that have come down to, in some cases, 3-4 teams tied in their league coming into this last race. So it's going to be a nail-biter.
It's going to be really close, actually. I think for a lot of that we've decided to cover tomorrow as well. Make sure to head on to ZwiftCommunityLive.com. You'll be able to see in our latest news post exactly what we're covering, as well as the coverage from last week and everything that we're covering this week. And don't forget, Zwift Grand Prix also starts this week. I'm actually racing in it. So Thursday, Zwift will be live on their own channels with that, and we'll cover everything that went down with the Zwift Grand Prix that Thursday night on the Wrap. Latest episode of the Wrap is also, of course, up over on ZwiftCommunityLive.com, or go ahead and search it up to try and find the Wrap. And Zwift is all you got to do to download that podcast. Go ahead and search that up, because we talked about, I actually went through it last night and did a lot of the chaptering out, and there's a lot of really cool content, actually. From my own opinion, I watched it back and was interested listening. I did the podcast, so it was a good one. Go ahead and watch that. But we'll see everybody tomorrow. Zwift Racing League Team Time Trial Day. Lots of different teams battling it out right down to the line for the final of this round, and then we're looking forward to November 14th for the start of the second round. Thanks everybody for tuning in. From Dave and I, as always, right on.